iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes, the best or nothing.
Mama, won't you send a sign? I'm running out of hope and time. A plague of mice, a lightning strike, or drop a nuclear bomb.
I've been attached to it for about 3 years, I think. I started doing the lab, so I've been a huge part of the process and what it's become today. So, yeah, it's been a crazy ride, and here we are arriving on Broadway. It's pretty insane.
This is certainly a much longer process than School of Rock was. School of Rock had a Broadway date, and we had to get there. This one was every step of the way. There wasn't a trajectory necessarily. We wanted, for this one, was to make a really, really, really good, really original type show of an adaptation. And every step of the way, we would get the go-ahead and the green light, and we would keep making it better and better and better. And what that allowed me to do was to just continue to try stuff out, which is a luxury for somebody who I would call myself a character actor and an improv person. So it's such a luxury to have the time and space and the encouragement to just play sometimes, to not stage a scene with the intention of finishing it is so wonderful. And we've gotten to do that all the way through. And I think that's led to something that is super duper interesting.
The show is so big and spectacular. So that part is super exciting. I do a lot of special effects, which I've never done before. I don't think in any show I've done. So I love that part. Also, I'm afraid of it. And it's exciting to be a part. I just did, Mean Girls, and so I was kind of a part of that whole thing where everyone loves that movie, and now I'm in another one where people are dressing up, coming to the show. It's just like a whole other thing, and the people are so excited to see the show, which always, is a nice perk.
I actually have worked on several movie musicals before. This one, I have no fears around it at all. I think that the show pays tribute to the movie, to Tim Burton, to all of the incredible things about it that people will love and want to see, but also at the same time bringing a whole different focus and heart to the story that I think the movie doesn't have as much. So I think everyone will get what they want. And also, for instance, my character is a little different than it is, well, it's a lot different than the movie. And what I found is, at first I was a little nervous about it, but then people said, oh my God, we love Delia. She's one of our favorite characters in the show. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I mean, that's a really nice compliment because I don't go in with any expectations at all. So I think the characters, this cast has been unbelievable. Everyone embodies their roles. And we just we love the show. So I think audiences are kind of feeling that too. And so they fall in love with us, hopefully.
In a lot of ways, writing the first two songs is the hardest bit because you've got to kind of make a quick decision about what the musical language is. And obviously we've got the film to go by, and Danny Elfman's score for that film is so kind of wild. It's like demented circus music. So that's kind of took that as my cue, and then started to. I mean, Beetlejuice was a fun one because he's a demon with endless multiple personalities. So it was just an excuse to stuff every genre of music into the one guy. So he sings across everything from, calypso to ska to salsa to lounge to folk, death metal. It's crazy, but it was really fun.
Yeah, Eddie Perfect is amazing, and he's been busting his butt on this thing. And I think what's so fun about this score is that it's sort of as frenetic stylistically as Beetlejuice is. So I've been saying that Beetlejuice is kind of like a raunchy genie from Aladdin in that he can turn on a dime, right? He's impossible to sort of get ahead of. And I think that's the same thing with the score. The score's following Beetlejuice. So if Beetlejuice is the one driving the tone, you don't know where you're going to go. And I think that's what's so fun is stylistically, one moment we're in Calypso land, and the next minute we're in hard rock, and then the next minute we feel like we're in traditional musical theater. And I think that's a testament to the sort of ADHD brain of Beetlejuice.
All the actors in the show are people that I've admired over the years and said, oh my gosh, could I get to work with, Alex Brightman or Leslie Kritzer. And so to all have them in a room together, just making each other laugh and bringing such kind of inventive and finding surprising opportunities for deep emotional choices. It's been really cool and a bit of a dream, and it's made my life very easy.
Every actor on earth is better for working with Alex Timbers because he is not only lets you play in a sandbox, but is in the sandbox with you, throwing sand around, getting out of your way, which is a humongous trait most directors don't have. I think one of his biggest skills was casting this nuts cast and trusting us to be precious and to be careful, and then just when it got too precious, to be dangerous and to be risky. And he just really is good at facilitating and navigating a really good group of actors.
I don't want to see the movie, frame for frame on stage. I don't think anyone does. But what they do want is to know that it's in good hands. And the second that I had a conversation with Alex Timbers, he took me out to dinner, and we were sort of just talking about the movie and the show and what his hopes were for the show. And he said to me, I think the unexplored part of the movie that I think the musical can explore is you have this demon obsessed with life and this girl obsessed with death, and what happens when those two forces come together, which felt a little bit like, to me, like a nod also to the cartoon. So for any fans of the animated series, which was much more Lydia and Beetlejuice driven, there is certainly a nod to that in there. And so I think fans are going to get what they expect and crave from Beetlejuice, just not in the way they expect to get it.
It's incredibly unique. It's sort of like unlike anything else on Broadway. It's just a hybrid of light and sound and music and comedy and gut-wrenching emotion and puppetry and spectacle. It's just really thrilling, really thrilling.
The story of Beetlejuice the musical is similar to the story of Beetlejuice the movie, but yes, it's much more centered on Lydia and Beetlejuice. And I'm really excited about that.